all in this video lecture series of computer networks. My name is Deepak Aneja, Assistant Professor, ABS Engineering College. In this video, I am going to discuss the topic ARP and RARP protocols. In the network layer, there is IP protocol, ARP, and RARP. So in this video, we will discuss the topic ARP and RARP protocol. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. RARP stands for Reverse Address Resolution Protocol. So an internet consists of various types of network and connecting devices like routers. A packet starts from the source host and passes through the various devices like routers and reaches to the destination host. So it passes through many physical network and physically reaches to the destination host. So at network level, the host and routers are recognized through the IP addresses. Or at the physical level, it will be recognized as the MAC address. MAC address is the 48-bit hexadecimal address that will recognize the devices at the physical level, or each and every devices had its unique MAC address. IP address is the logical addresses. So they need the mapping of IP address to the MAC address. So mapping can be of two types. First one is static mapping or second is dynamic mapping. Static mapping, you can say that is the manual mapping, or this is automatically done by some protocols. So what is the static mapping? Static mapping is a table is created and stored on each machine. This table associates an IP address with a MAC address. If machine knows the IP address of another machine, then it can search for the corresponding MAC address in its table and provide that MAC address to the machine. But then limitation of this static mapping, limitation of static mapping is that the MAC address can change. MAC address change how? If we change the device, then MAC address obviously change to that machine. To implement this table, need to be updated periodically. So we have to need the table updated periodically for static mapping. And dynamic mapping, the protocols are used for finding the address when one type of address is known. There are two types of protocol that are designed to perform this dynamic mapping. First one is address resolution protocol and second is reverse address resolution protocol. ARP maps an IP address to the MAC address, and RARP done the reverse mapping, that is MAC address to the IP address. So what about the now the ARP operation, how the ARP protocol performs? So ARP is used for association of IP address to the corresponding MAC address. In LAN, local area network, each device has its own physical address, means MAC address, as its identification. So this address is printed onto the devices or an IC card, or that is the unique address. Now, how to find the MAC address. So the router for the host who want to find the MAC address of some other router, that sends an ARP request packet. So there is the ARP operation. The sender A, this is the sender A, wants to send A. This is B, receiving. Here is more hosts that are connected in between. So suppose A wants to find the MAC address of B. So A sends the ARP request packet to B. So it will broadcast this ARP request packet to the network. Broadcast means all the connected devices receives this ARP request packet. So ARP request packet consists of IP address of A, MAC address of B of A, and plus IP address of B. So A knows the IP address of B, but it want to maps the MAC address of B with the IP address. So it will sender sends ARP. It will broadcast the ARP request packet to the network. So all the connected host or routers will receive the ARP request packet. Now every host and router onto the network receives and process ARP request, but only B will respond because it contains the IP address of B. So in the response, B sends the response packet to the so it contains in the response packet, it contains the IP address of B plus MAC address of B plus MAC address of A, because it knows the MAC address of A. So this packet is delivered only to A using A's physical address in the ARP request packet. So this is the complete process of finding the IP address to the MAC address. Now next is RARP. RARP stands for Reverse Address Resolution Protocol. It will use to map MAC address to the corresponding IP address. That's why it is called as Reverse Address Resolution Protocol. RARP allows a computer to obtain an IP address from the server. When a diskless computer booted onto the network first time, it broadcasts a RARP request packet onto the local network, which includes the MAC address of its own, because it knows its own physical address, but it does not know the IP address of the server. That's why it will broadcast the request to the local network. Now, the server can receive this request packet. Now, the server knows the IP address of the client, then server can respond and it will supply it with an IP address. The server that receives the request looked into a table and matches the MAC address with the corresponding IP address and returns the IP address to the workstation. But it has some disadvantage, like it does not find the subnet mask address, or it will execute, or it will find the IP address onto the local network, not to the other network. So RARP used in the local network, not in the other network. So this is all about ARP and RARP. These are the references.